Both Deepin OS and Lingmo OS hail from China and built upon Debian's foundation. Yet they reveal starkly different maturity levels and shortcomings. Deepin OS, developed by Wuhan Deepin Technology Co. Limited, boasts a polished Deepin Desktop Environment and a rich suite of native apps. But users commonly report sluggish repository speeds, random hangs, and serious privacy concerns due to bundled analytics. Now, Lingmo OS, in contrast, positions itself as a lightweight, macOS-inspired distro with a lean UI and modest hardware demands. But it remains in beta, plagued by installation failures, update managers, timeouts, and a several limited software catalog. In side-by-side testing, Deepin's aesthetic sheen is undermined by instability and potential telemetry issues, whereas Lingmo's minimalist ambition falter under immaturity and sparse community support. Both systems, despite their visual appeal, risk leaving users frustrated rather than empowered. Now let's start with the introduction. Chinese Linux distributions have gained traction for their unique UIs and localized features, yet they often invite skepticism over stability and trustworthiness. While Deepin OS has spent over a decade refining its flagship desktop, Lingmo OS is a newcomer aiming to revive cute fish visions. This comparison dissects each distro's origin, strengths, and most glaring weaknesses, offering a critical perspective suited for an audience wary of adopting bleeding-edge Chinese software. Deepin OS, aesthetic powerhouse or bloated liability. Let's talk about the origins and key features. Deepin OS began life as Hewitt Linux in 2004 and evolved under Wuhan Deepin Technology Co. Limited, now a subsidiary of Union Tech. It features the Qt-based Deepin Desktop Environment, which is DDE, lauded for its eye-candy animations and intuitive control center. Deepin bundles proprietary softwares like WPS Office and 360 Security Guard alongside open-source staples, aiming to deliver an all-in-one experience. Let's talk about the drawbacks and criticism. Despite its polish, Deepin OS is frequently criticized for buggy behavior, including random freezes and extremely slow repository mirrors. The Deepin App Store has been reported to omit crucial applications, Steam, OBS Studio, Kid and Live, and suffers from sluggish load times even in beta releases. Privacy-conscious users have flagged concerns about embedded analytics and potential telemetry, labeling Deepin as aesthetic spyware. Furthermore, the sheer volume of pre-installed apps inflates system requirements, neglecting claims of lightweight performance. Now Lingmo OS, promising depth or a half-baked experiment. Let's talk about the origins and key features. Lingmo OS, nimble and smoothing, streams for a small independent team, focusing on a macOS-like interface and minimal hardware needs. Built atop Debian stable version 3.0, which is RC10, released on April 5, 2025, requires just 2 GB of RAM and a 2 GHz x86-64 CPU. It introduces a global top bar menu, a dock of app access, and a lightweight Lingmo UI, forked from Cutefish. Now let's talk about the drawbacks and criticism. However, Lingmo OS remains in beta, and installation attempts often fail in VirtualBox environments, casting doubts on its readiness for everyday use. Post-install, the update manager frequently times out, effectively locking users out of system updates. The out-of-the-box software selection is scant, forcing users to resort to external repository and manual package installs. With minimal GitHub activity and a tiny user base, community support is virtually non-existent, leaving newcomers stranded when troubleshooting. Now, comparative analysis. Stability and performance. Deepin OS DDE demands substantial system resources, resulting in occasional UI lag and memory bloat on modest hardware. Lingmo OS advertises smooth operation on low-end PCs, yet its beta build betray persistent crashes and update failures that undermine any performance gains. Now, software ecosystem. Deepin's vast app store and bundled suite cater to broad use cases, but locks users into Deepin specific packages and slow mirrors. Lingmo's sparse default require savvy users to manually install essential tools, compounding the learning curve for a Linux novices. Now, community and support. Backed by a commercial entity and a decade of development, Deepin OS boasts active forums and timely releases, albeit with occasional feature delays. Lingmo OS, by contrast, has minimal documentation and a few contributors, risking project abandonment akin to its cutefish predecessors. Now, privacy and security. Deepin OS's inclusion of analytics and proprietary security tools raises red flags for privacy advocates, fueling fears of telemetry backdoors in Chinese software. Lingmo OS leans on Debian's robust security model, yet its closed source UI components leave potential vulnerabilities unvetted by the broader community. Now finally, the conclusion. While both Deepin OS and Lingmo OS push for visually stunning interfaces, their respective appeals crumble under scrutiny. Deepin's aesthetic triumphs are marred by sluggish updates, privacy doubts, and needless bloat, whereas Lingmo's promises of lightweight elegance falter in the face of critical stability and support gaps. Prospective users should brace for frustration rather than enchantment and consider more mature alternatives until this Chinese distro addresses their fundamental loss. That's it for the video. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in tomorrow's video. Peace out.